What's up, everybody? I'm bringing you a new review of My Hero Academia. This is chapter 369, and this is probably one of the best chapters thus far in this arc. I gotta say, it's a really good arc. Before we get right into the video and I do everything I need to do, I want to first say, again, I'm at like 60 something subscribers on YouTube. I'm trying to get to 100, so if you hit that subscribe button, I will greatly appreciate it. So now let's get into the actual review of the chapter, and I gotta say, this chapter started off kind of heavy with the first bit. At the very first beginning of the chapter, we show that the second fighting All For One, and then getting folded by him. We still don't know much about the second user of the One For All quirk, except for the fact that he led a resistance group against All For One. But in this chapter, we had All For One actually shedding tears and crying as he was killing the second user. So I believe this is right after Yoichi, which is All For One's brother, died and passed off his quirk to the second. But then I kind of find it confusing, because if the second died right here, who did he pass his quirk off to? You see what I mean? So I'm kind of interested to see where this is all going. No, what, actually, I take that statement back. I do know what happened. The third was actually the sidekick to the second. So the second, the third helped the second take who was it called, Yoichi, out of imprisonment from the first. So I'm guessing during the entire exchange, they literally passed a quirk down like bow, 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 like in quick succession or something. I'm not entirely sure what happened in the past. They don't really tell us, or they haven't really shown us, but all we saw was like a whole bunch of wreckage around the second and the first, and then the second tried to use his quirk to stop All For One, but obviously All For One just kind of at that point he was so strong that the second's quirk wasn't really worth a damn. Actually, it wasn't really worth anything, which is why it shows how All For One in this chapter is so frustrated, because he's like, how is it that this quirk that wasn't worth a damn thing is so strong now? Like, what is going on? Why is all of this happening to me? He's very frustrated in this chapter, and he's like, I haven't even been able to use the full extent of this body's abilities. I can't do anything because they have a Eraserhead next to the one kid from 1B that's able to copy quirks. You have a Eraserhead erasing the quirks and stuff. Then you have the fact that they have the little prison around him, so he can't even get help from nobody. It's just him fighting a bunch of people by himself. He is so damn frustrated throughout this entire chapter, and I gotta say, I love it. I love seeing the frustration in the villain, because it's like they be spitting some shit when they mad. And to top it all off, we have such a controlled, angry Deku right now. This man is putting the straight hands, I'm talking about straight hands, on this nigga All For One. This brother did not stop at all this entire fight, bro. He kept going. He kept trying to fight, and he just never gave All For One a break. And I really like the second's quirk, because the ability to shift the momentum of things and literally bend the laws of physics as he feels is kind of busted. But because it was so weak at the beginning, he couldn't really see the full extent of it until it got passed down, because as you know, when quirks get passed down with One For All, they get stronger. So his quirk is at this point buku strong. Sadly though, with the quirk being so strong as it is and everything that's going on, Deku is going through it. He's actually breaking down the longer that they're fighting, because he has Fajin and this quirk going at the same time. So I'm he got a lot going on. He's using Black Whip, he's using Float, Danger Sift, Sense, Smokescreen, and the boosted strength from all of this at the same time, maintaining the equilibrium because Deku still can't use 100% of One For All, because if he does do that, it messes up his body. So he still can't even use the full extent of the quirk's ability. So he has to use all the supplements to make sure that he's able to use the quirk, and he's maintaining all of this and balancing all of this at the same time. It's insanity if you really think about it. He is balancing literally, what is it? He's a 9th user, so he has straight up 8 quirks that he's balancing all at once. It's no 7 technically, because All Might before him was quirkless. So yeah, he's balancing 7 quirks at the same time while fighting. It's insane. I just love the series so much, because at the very beginning you have this dynamic between the first and the second, and if you really look at it, the first and the second kind of reminds you of Bakugo and Deku. The second straight up looks sort of like Bakugo. Let's keep it a buck 50. He looks a lot like Bakugo, and the first kind of resembles Deku. If Deku, because when Deku's not off the fucking rocker and beating the shit out of everybody, but he kind of resembles Deku, and he even has like a personality similar to Deku, because Deku is pretty meek until he gets mad. Yoichi, from what I've been seeing, is like he was weak, but he was also like a meek personality. Like he wasn't really like this, but you know, of course, everybody that's meek at this point, like they are stepping up to stop this villain from doing everything that he wants to do. Then when we transition to the very end of the manga, I mean not the manga, the chapter, I have absolutely no idea what this nigga All For One is doing. I don't know what he is. Like he's yelling, or he's transferring, or he's doing something. His body looks weird. Like he's just, I don't know what that is. I don't know what he's planning to do. But it's the fact that it transitioned to Spinner and saying I still have some cards left, and it transitions to Spinner. I'm terrified. Is he? Because if you know what, he might be doing that same thing he did to Lady Nagna. He might be snatching his quirk back from all the way over there. I don't know. I absolutely don't know what he's planning to do with Spinner. It's a great cliffhanger. This chapter was phenomenal. We got so much going on in this one chapter. We get a little bit of history, you know, showing us what happened like during the time that the second's death when he fought the All For One. We have a great fucking battle. Like this shit is like borderline at this point. Like you know how shonen mangas get. They get to the point where they just start destroying shit like all around them, and then like the mass destruction that they're capable of like producing. So you know we're getting that in this. We're also getting the fact that like even though it seems like we're like it's not entirely one-sided with the heroes winning again, the beating the villains and stuff like that. This shit is teeter-tottering back and forth. Like it is bouncing back and forth. Like there's no end to it at all, and it's phenomenal because of the fact that like let's talk about it. Like Dobby is still alive. Like let's keep it above. Dobby's still alive. When we thought Dobby was defeated, he straight up was like, oh, so that's how you use that? Yeah, I could do something similar to that too. Like there's so much left in the air that we have not seen yet, and I just can't wait. That's really all I can really give in this review right now. There's not really much I can say from this, because this was pretty much a hype chapter showing like, you know, the villains like kind of descent into losing and his frustrations with everything at the moment. And I just like enjoy watching, but reading at the same time as this, because it's so fun. It's just such a fun little thing that's going on right now. And then like the stakes are like, I have this feeling of stakes. Like I like how at the very end it's like the writing has like subverted our stakes and kind of got rid of them, but at the same time they're raising the stakes again, because it's like, okay, what the hell else is about to happen? Because it's like we're beating him, but we're not beating him, because he always has a trick on top of a trick on top of a trick. Like All For One has been doing this a very, very, very long time. I don't believe anybody at this point has like the full extent of like his tricks. I don't think they can stop everything that he's doing, because every single time they're close to stopping him, he always finds a way to escalate the situation. Like every single time. It did it with the lab shit when Mirko broke the entire lab down and all that. Like he never stops. He is always a step ahead, and he always has plans. So I'm interested in seeing what is his next trump card and what he's about to do with Spinner. Like Spinner, especially considering there's one thing to consider: the entirety of Spinner being like who he is. Like Spinner's character has been kind of lackluster in the sense that like his character isn't bad at all. I don't think he has a bad character at all. I think it's like he himself is just lackluster in this world around him. But at the same time, he faced discrimination just because like he looks different. But he himself hasn't really been like crazy. Like he just fights with swords, and he found inspiration from what's his name, the hero killer, right? Stain. So it's like I kind of like I'm trying to figure out like entirely like what is going on with him, because like after I think he like All For One did something where he gave Spinner something to where Spinner looks the way he does now, and he's like just mad. So I'm interested in seeing where he's going with this. Like I'm actually very interested, because Spinner has been one of the people in the League of Villains that hasn't really been able to like shine. Everybody else has had the moment to shine, so I'm curious to see where he's going with this one. With that, that's the review. Thank you so much for coming out and watching the video. If you like the content, please leave a like, subscribe, and content, and I'll catch y'all in the next video. Deuces.